In the middle of Desolation Wilderness is a little slice of heaven called the Rubicon, which once experienced is more of a peace of mind rather than a location. It is made up of the purest essentials from Mother Nature in all her glory. Its history runs deep and is a spark that ignited an industry, lifestyle, and culture. It gives with all its heart, only asking in return to be enjoyed and taken care of by all. And its keepers, the ones who cleanse, rebuild, and fight for her, they are the Jeepers Jamboree. An amazing group of people which plays host to an event that displays all of the Rubicon's secrets, pleasures, and history. Jeepers Jamboree is how this timeless, scenic, country road turned into an unforgettable granddaddy of an adventure, going into its 67th year of existence. The Jamboree takes you on 17 miles of the most challenging, grueling, and fun obstacles that the Rubicon can throw at you. It is, after all, arguably the oldest, toughest, and largest organized event of its type in the world. Jeepers Jamboree will show you why the Rubicon is the crown jewel of trails. The trail for this event starts at Loon Lake and heads towards Spider Lake. Once past Spider, riders drop into Buck Island and over to Rubicon Springs, where the hosts extend themselves to their fellow Jeepers. A sure sign of first-class, 5-star treatment that you can only find at this unique annual event. For us, as a company supporting this great event, we opted to go in ahead of the crowd and meet everyone at Rubicon Springs. Our crew is very experienced. However, we had a couple Jeepers virgins as well. Even with the experience of our crew and the capabilities of our vehicles, it is easy to reflect back to how hard this trail is for others in today's age. But can you imagine what it was like 50 years ago? Not quite black and white, but the introduction of color and video makes me realize that after the Jeepers Jamboree, maybe people needed more of an introduction to a chiropractor. Whoa, wait a second, hand pumping fuel? I guess that was a thing. But really, the trail is just as scenic and fun then as it is now. The vehicles were primitive compared to today's standards. However, the ride was just as great. And going with your friends just made the trip that much more fun. Look back, you see so many smiles. It makes you realize that this is more than just a trail. It's more than just an obstacle. It's an experience. Big Sluice, it's a little harder now than it was then, but it's still something that we all enjoy. As easy as it is to enjoy the Rubicon, I'm not sure I would enjoy sitting 3 wide in a Willys packed to the gills. The event has spotters and rockstackers at every obstacle to help you along the trail. If you break, they have a full-time crew to help get you the parts and continue on your journey. Hungry? They serve a full 3 meals a day and some of the best cooking you'll ever see in the middle of nowhere. And at the end of the day, they host one hell of a party. Violent? Good lord, the old timers weren't messing around. Look at how stiff that suspension is. Make no mistake though, these people are wheelers. They could do it then, imagine what they could do now with today's equipment of 4 lifts and 38-inch tires. Anyway, back to our trip. We started at Loon Lake, and this is the usual entry point for the Jeepers Jamboree and locals alike. Of course, after leaving Georgetown, we had to air down and get our supplies adjusted for the challenge of the trail. The 6 vehicles in our group made quick, short work of the trail, as the smallest tires we had were 37s. This is the bridge that crosses Ellis Creek. And trust me, the creek is not as big as the bridge would make it out to be. There's Ed in his highly modified Jeep. And there's Chris, who owns a distillery. Awesome friend to have in camp. That's Oren. He came all the way from Florida. There's Courtney. She's a badass and built her own rig. And it's a manual. There's John. He's from Southern California. Now look, one of 2 shots where I'm actually included in this film. Remember Big Sluice? Yeah, the one we showed earlier from the 60s? It's a little different then than it is now. Look at these big rocks. This has turned into a very technical portion of the trail. And what looks like a line down is not as easy as it looks. Here it is. This is the second time I'm in this. The moment that I dinged Ron's door, which I will likely never hear the end of.
Born up here in Northern California. My parents were born and grew up here. So for us, there's also like a back home kind of connection. We have a connection more than just the event itself. We have a connection with friends and what we would call like extended family. So with it being this year the 67th, my dad was going since he was like in high school or earlier.
Yeah.
Basically, since he could drive, he had a Toyota pickup. He'd come in here with friends all the time. He grew up with the board members that are on the board now, but he was around obviously when their dads were coming in and starting this whole thing. So it's been a big part of his life, and so he's been doing it for I don't even know how many years. It's got to be longer than I've been alive, so probably close to 30 to 40 years. I think this is my 10th year. He took me right when I was 15. I rode passenger with him, and then I drove in 16, and from on I've been driving it. The trail itself is iconic, obviously, the Rubicon Trail. So you can do it any time of the year if you wanted to. You can come up here and drive the trail. But with this event specifically, you get a lot more. From day one, you have rock rollers, you get food catered. They got sandwiches for you the day you drive in. And if you don't know what rock rollers are, there's guys positioned all over the trail at specific obstacles, and if you ever have an issue, they'll help you guide through that obstacle. If that doesn't work, they'll literally stack rocks and roll rocks to help get you through. And so that's just something that you don't really get from other events. And so to do the trail is one thing, but also to do it with this event, you just get a lot more.
Once in camp, days go quick with all the action in the Rubicon Springs. Remember that whole thing I told you? One hell of a party? Yeah, this is real.
So now, I believe I want to bring my entertainment in for you guys. I believe they are about ready, right? It is going to be awesome. If you guys get warm real easy, get back a little bit, because it's going to be warm up here.
These people quite literally lit themselves on fire. Yes, you just saw what I saw, which I surely wasn't prepared for. You only get a glimpse of the fire show, so you need to join us next year to see the whole thing. Remember when I said participants get 3 full meals a day? Neither do I, but you get them, and they are awesome. Oh hey, there's Shannon Campbell, a god when it comes to rock crawling. The gals serve up what the guys cook, and all along the live music plays. There's Bailey Campbell and Brian Cross. Yeah, she thought it was funny too. And after dinner, the drinks flow. Like I said, one hell of a party.
Any more requests out there?
This is good stuff.
The next day is a vendor show and cornhole tournament. Several of the top companies in the industry join participants at the springs and get down on the cornhole. This is great to swing by while you're at the springs because a lot of the vendors give really good discounts and good technical information while you're there in the middle of nowhere. But now I have a treat for you. Check out how great the Jeepers Jamboree has always been.
Few places in the world are as rugged, isolated, and awesomely beautiful as California's Sierra Nevada mountains. 51 weeks out of the year, the silence of these granite slabs is deafening. But for 4 short days in July, the woods come alive as another Jeepers Jamboree gets rolling.
Yes, they actually used this music. I can't believe they got away with this.
This is where it all began. Main Street in Georgetown, California. Believe it or not, it's 6 a.m. and most of these folks haven't slept a wink. They've been lined up here all night long, waiting for what they hope will be the ride of a lifetime. Recognized as the supreme test of man and machine. 400 vehicles, 3 TV crews, and over 1,000 people from 8 different countries have paid $160 apiece to take part in this off-road pilgrimage. Beginning in Georgetown and ending at Lake Tahoe, the 65-mile, 4-day trip traces an old stagecoach route called the Rubicon Trail. Now, it all begins like a leisurely Sunday drive. But halfway in, we hit the rough stuff. In fact, veteran four-wheelers call this part of the Sierras the Devil's Playground. And I soon found out why.
You can't take an average man off the street and put him in a Jeep and have him come in here without doing some damage to something.
You never can't tell what's going to happen. You know, one year you might break a spring shackle or you'll blow a seal or you lose a brake cylinder. Next year you do something totally different. We started to go up, couldn't make it, so we started to back down and we back into this molded rock over here.
There's a distinct possibility that you may spend the night on the trail, huh?
No.
No?
No. I got 3 other Jeeps here that I'll hitch a ride in the camp.
Hello, buckaroo! How y'all doing? Hey, meet y'all at Rubicon.
We started rolling again and had smooth sailing all the way into Rubicon Springs, our makeshift mountain home. After a rough day on the trail, it's hard to beat a choice cut New York steak cooked over an open fire, fresh salad, hot buttered corn on the cob, and a French gourmet?
French gourmet roll.
French gourmet roll. And for dessert, the best entertainment you'll find above 6,000 feet. Now, if can-can's not your style, how about a slightly slower pace from south of the border? Non-stop entertainment is the name of the game on this trip. From Piano Bob on his airlifted Baby Grand to an Air National Guard flyover, there is never a dull moment.
I've been to quite a few parties in my life, and this one here is probably the best one I've been to. You can't have fun here, you can't have fun nowhere in the world.
From Copenhagen, Denmark.
What brings you to the Rubicon?
I came here 1 year to visit some friends, and they brought me here, and I was so excited about it, and I come here every year since.
It just seems to grow on you like I've been coming for 23 years. I just love it.
Will you be back next year?
You bet. Good Lord willing, I sure will be. Absolutely.
Obviously, the reasons for coming back here are as numerous as the participants themselves. But here are a couple that seem to say it all, beginning with Jeep Master and Jamboree founder, Mark Smith.
Just turn around and look at it. It's just absolutely beautiful. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. It's just God's country. On the 8th day, God went jeeping.
That's your idea of heaven.
That's it.
It doesn't look much different then than it does now. And it really is paradise packed into a week of wheeling. As you can see, the Rubicon is more than a destination. It is comprised of decades of beauty, glory, and fun. Those that get to experience the Rubicon through the Jeepers Jamboree really get a treat like no other. As much as this year, like others, were marked by smiles and good times, it also saw the loss of a longtime steward and historian due to a heart attack.
I'm Steve Morris. I'm a longtime Jamboree person. This 50-year patch I got 7 years ago. So I know some of these rocks rather well. Have names for a few of them also, but we won't talk about that.
Steve Morris passed away at Jeepers this year. But he also remained at the place he loved the most.
Switchback and it died. And that was it. My buddies were clear down the bottom with a block and tackle yet. They were having lugged that. And if you don't know what a block and tackle is, it's about 200 feet of rope wrapped around a whole bunch of pulleys, and it weighs a lot. But it's quite effective.
He will always be remembered, along with the history of the trail he once spoke of.
I thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. And enjoy Rubicon Springs and keep coming.
We enjoyed it, Steve. Thank you so much for your dedication. As you can see, people dedicate their entire lives to the Rubicon and the Jeepers Jamboree. This isn't just a trail. It's a home, rich in history, dedication, and love. Jeepers Jamboree and the people behind it is the reason why the Rubicon is the crown jewel of trails.